Hey guys, welcome to Towle Talks. Today we talk about inheritance. So I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to try to make a video on the concept of what I'm discussing and then a second video of the code. That way I'm not cramming it all into one video and having a 30-45 minute video. I think I'll make these things a little shorter. So today we're going to talk about inheritance. This is the natural extension of objects, and you're going to see that it capitalizes on modularity and code reuse. And it's vital for any sizable project or any project in enterprise. You're going to have to use inheritance. So that concludes kind of the conceptual overview of what inheritance is. I'm going to then go into the code examples in the next video, and we'll talk about what to expect and different problems that arise. Inheritance, a simple introduction. So after we learn objects, we want to learn about inheritance and the abilities of inheritance in advanced programming languages. We want to do this for 4 reasons. We want to reuse our code. It's easier to manage our code, basically because we only have to fix an error in one place. And it's easier to add or scale the functionality to our program. You'll find that this is a big deal when you get to larger projects. And it also helps organize our code's functionality. So what is inheritance? When a class inherits from another, it gains all the variables and it gains all of its methods. However, it may not have access to the variables or methods if they're private. It doesn't mean they're not there, the class just does not have access to it. The instance of the child class can be stored in a container of the parent type. So it can be stored in a data structure or an array of the parent type. Here we see a class parent and class child is inheriting from it, and because it's inheriting from it without doing anything, class child gets the method paint. Assuming it's not private, the child class can access it. In Java, the constructors will be called from the highest level of inheritance to the specific class. This ensures all initialization code is complete. So here we have the grandparent, or the child, which inherits from the parent, which inherits from the grandparent. And yes, I know my arrows are not quite right, so for you UML gurus out there, I apologize. If this was the scenario, and I invoked a constructor on the child class, I would first invoke the grandparent constructor, then the parent constructor, and then the child constructor. This is not consistent across all programming languages, but C++ and Java will do this. The child class can only access public, protected, unspecified variables and methods in the class. It cannot access private variables or methods. The private variables and methods are there. So if you call a function that's in the parent class, then the parent class will have access to it, but the child class cannot directly access private variables or methods. So children often rebel, and in Java this is called overriding. When a child implements their own version of the method, it's called overriding, and what will happen is it will disable the parent's method. Again, children can be stored in the data structures and arrays of the type parent. When a method is invoked, the correct method is called based on what type of object it is. So regardless of the fact that it's an array of type parent, if the instance being held is a type child, it will call the correct method. This ability for the compiler to dynamically choose which method to call is called polymorphism. So here we have parent class A has a method print. Child class B inherits from A and has its own method of print. The array of type A has been declared, but contains an instance of the parent and the child. So that's our scenario. So here's our scenario. If I have an array that's type A, and the first index stores an instance of A, remember A is the parent, and then if the second instance is of B, which is a child, it's stored in index 1 of the array. When I say myArray bracket 0.print, I'll invoke the parent's print method. When I say myArray bracket 1 dot print, it will invoke the child's print method, even though the array is of type A or the parent. This has been Towle Talks. Until next time, cheers. Please go through these questions. Make sure you understand what the answers are and what the concepts we've covered so far. Next video, we're going to go into the actual coding.